See you way later.
He struck him out. Guerrero gets Ohtani.
They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
Welcome back to episode 4 of the All MLB Podcast. I'm Jarek, alongside Aven Nurse, and special guest Henry Black.
Henry, how are you?
I'm doing well, Nurse. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's the flight in?
Oh, it's got your old travel woes, right? I got redirected at least once.
Fun little layover in Salt Lake. For those of you who don't know, Henry, our first subscriber, flew him in just for the episode.
I'm very grateful, eternally grateful.
He's a big Mariners fan, so we're planning on later in the episode we'll talk and ask a few questions about that, how he sees the Mariners organization going forward, and he's going to have a lot of insightful thoughts about that.
We'll have some fun playing general manager of the Mariners. But I get to start off with the Dodger fan getting Shohei Ohtani. What were your first impressions?
I couldn't believe the 700 million number. I think every single person was thinking it'd be 600, 650. I don't think a single person was expecting a 7 out in front of that number.
I mean, right, with his Tommy John, everyone was thinking that was going to lower his value so much, but apparently it did nothing but raise it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, in the summertime, I remember I saw a few posts about saying he might get 7, but then he got hurt, and there were people saying he might only be worth like 450.
I feel like that's crazy, though. There was no way Shohei was going for anything less than 600.
Yeah.
I feel like it, regardless of the fact that he got Tommy John, like he's still one of the greatest players we've ever seen.
Yeah, there's just so much upside when you can pitch and hit at elite levels.
I thought the floor was 500 million. And I like how you have to point to your elbow every time for Tommy John. It's really insightful for those that don't know.
It's right there.
For the viewers,
And actually, it wasn't Tommy John. He had a different procedure this time.
Oh,
I didn't know
So it's higher up on his, different
wow.
part of the UCL.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
UCL. He hurt his UCL.
Same rehab. He'll still be out for the whole year.
So we're gonna jump in, cover the other free agent signings that has happened so far. Jung-Hoo Lee to the Giants, 6 years, 113 million.
Oh.
Jarek and I are geniuses.
Shout out Jarek. 2 for 2 on the free agency prediction so far.
And I'm 1 for 2. We're pretty good.
50% is not as good for me, but
I had a good thought that they'd be going to the Dodgers, but I wanted to be different. He went with the easy choice of picking Dodgers for Shohei. That's all it is.
dude, it's okay to be right, even if it's easy.
And what were you
Sometimes
guys'
it's better to be
picks again?
I had Shohei to the Dodgers.
Yep. I
Um,
think I had him to the Mets.
no, you had Shohei to the Cubs.
That's right.
And we both had Jung-Hoo Lee to San Fran, play center field and lead off for them.
He's a great fit there. I'm really excited to see that play out.
I'm a little upset he didn't go to the Mariners. I was hopeful. I wasn't expecting, but I was hopeful.
He's exactly what the Mariners needed. I mean, you'd have to move him to a corner outfield instead of center with Julio. But they need less swing and miss in Seattle.
Yes,
I mean, you did trade away Eugenio Suarez, so you got
that's a lot.
cut
of
down on the
swing and miss
strikeouts
out
a
of
little
it.
bit, but
Also, a lot of slugging.
exactly.
It's
Would have been a great leadoff man. Move JP to the field. I don't really know the order exactly, but
We'll mess with the Mariners a little bit more later in the episode.
yeah, we'll come back to it.
Yeah. We haven't talked in about a month, so there's been a lot that's happened.
That's Avon's fault. Blame it on him.
We all had finals. Finals keep us busy, so that is the big delay in the episodes. It's his fault as much as mine. But another thing. Juan Soto's now a Yankee. What do you guys think
Oh,
about
it
that?
hurts.
I-
He looks so ugly in pinstripes. He should have been a Cardinal.
He should have been anything else. I think anything except the Yankee.
I think he's a great fit on the
He
Yankees. I don't know
does
about
seem
you
like a
guys.
good Yankee.
Yeah.
He
I don't
fits the
think-
narrative.
But if anyone's at least like ball player style,
He's got a New York attitude. I feel like that he's going to fit in New York because some players can't play in New York.
Yeah.
Those guys that shy away from the light. Juan Soto's not one of those guys.
Mhm.
It's just
He's
kind of
really great.
surprising though that they signed or they traded for Verdugo the day before, and they got Grisham with the Soto deal. So now they have 4 outfielders, plus their young guys. So they're kind of crammed out there.
But it's not like Judge is going to play all season.
Whoa, that's Stanton. Stanton's the one that's getting injured. If you ask Brian Cashel. It's not if,
This
but
is true.
when he goes on the
That is
IL.
true.
Judge ran into a wall
A great
in
wall.
Dodger Stadium.
A great wall.
Stupid wall with cement on the bottom. That's not the point though. But don't need to talk about that now. Judge, I think he'll be healthy all year. He seems like his
I
year.
feel like that's a hot take. I feel like he's just
How many seasons has he played? Like all year?
be a good question. I feel like it's
Well, okay.
less than
What's
half,
the
right?
over under? What do you want to take on his games played? Over under 130.5.
You saying average?
average.
I'm not giving you an average. That's just my guess. What do you think?
I don't know
Will
what
he
the
play?
130
Will
is.
he play more or less than
Okay.
130
Oh.
games?
That's good. I think less.
130. I think I would say less.
Yeah, I say less too.
I mean, if he gets injured at all, I mean,
It's
30
gone, 'cause
games
he
is a
doesn't-
lot of games, though. That's
Because even if
a
he's
month
healthy
of
all
games.
year, he's only going to play like 145, 150 if he's healthy all year because of the rest games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
in
he gets hurt
20,
once, he's done.
2017, his rookie year, he played 155.
Okay.
His second year, he played 112. The third year, he played 102. COVID year, he only played 28, so we don't really count that
Out
one.
of
COVID
60
doesn't
Out of
games,
60.
though?
COVID doesn't.
But I mean, that's still like he
It was a
missed-
weird year.
He missed a lot of.
What if he got COVID? Like that's
It's
not his
true.
fault.
It's true.
Okay, but his last 3 years, 2021, he played 148 games.
Okay.
2022, he played 157. And then 2023, he played 106.
I still take the under on the 130.
30. So what was that? That was 3 years that he's played over 130 games. 4 years where he's played under. Not
Yeah, so
counting
3 seasons, he's tallied over 130 games.
Okay.
He's
been
7
in
or
since-
6 years.
He's
Wow.
8 years in.
He's 8.
If you
So
count,
his 8th year,
Jesus.
if you count COVID, I guess.
no, if you
Oh,
count
yeah.
his 2016 appearance when he only played
Oh.
27 games.
So 7.
So yeah.
So he's got,
7
yeah, seven years of service time.
Yeah, I'm taking the under.
I'll take the over. I think he's gonna have a healthy year and hit 60
I think,
bombs.
I think
again.
I just want to say under because I am
I just
biased
don't trust
against the
that.
Yankees.
I just don't trust that. But,
But
they have plenty of outfielders now. They'll be
Mhm.
happy.
they'll be happy.
Yeah.
If Stanton gets hurt, they can move Judge to DH, keep him healthy.
Well, Judge is really their only main man center field. Well, I guess Grisham can play center.
And I don't think the Yankees are done either. I
They'll
believe-
add somebody. I think they need
Oh,
to
for
add
sure.
another bat because who are you gonna pitch to? Like your Soto will take all of his walks, and Judge can walk too.
I think they need to add pitching more than hitting.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I'm just saying they're gonna walk those 2 guys, and then the other guys aren't gonna come up
That's true.
clutch.
I mean, what's their pen looking like? I feel like
They
I
had a good
remember
pen.
their
Well, they did
pen.
trade Michael King, but he was gonna be a starter. Their pen was pretty good last year.
Okay.
Their problem is they've traded away all their depth options.
Yeah, they have no
They traded
starting.
away 4, 5, 6 basically, and then they had multiple guys taken in the Rule 5. So their rotation is a little interesting.
It's like Garrett Cole, and then we'll figure it out.
Exactly. But Cole will get him some wins, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
Cole will throw 200 innings again.
I think I saw something like his record against teams over 500
I should
was
see that.
1,000.
Yeah.
He did not lose a game,
He didn't lose.
That's pretty
games.
clutch.
which
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, maybe Carlos Rodon will decide to play next year.
That's true. He did. That
'Cause
was
that's a pretty
uncharacteristic.
good 1-2 punch. Nestor Cortez had a down
A
year,
down year.
but he could bounce back, and he's a nice 3.
Mhm.
And
then you
they
have-
can still go get Yamamoto.
They could get
They
Yamamoto.
could. I'll make my first guess prediction. I think Yamamoto's to the Dodgers. I feel like that's just it makes too much sense. I feel like the Dodgers still have money to spend. Yamamoto's made it clear he wants to play with other
Yes,
Japanese.
he does want to play
players.
with other
Yeah.
Japanese players, but does he want to play? Does he want to be the spotlight of the Japanese players? Like if he goes with like Kodai Senga, right, he's going to be the bigger name.
Mhm.
But if he goes with Shohei Ohtani, he's going to be in the shadow.
It's true. It's true. He will. But also, you got like Shohei is a celebrity in Japan. Like, who
You
doesn't
know-
want to go play with?
You know who else is a celebrity
the
in Japan?
biggest-
Lars Newbar.
This is true.
Multiple TV commercials, and he will bring Yoshinobu Yamamoto home.
I'm
He
pretty
actually
sure
was on a
Cardinals-
podcast interview yesterday, and he still says there's a chance the Cardinals sign him.
I think Cardinals are pretty out.
No, Newbar says we're still in.
I feel like they're
And
the-
I trust
maybe,
Newbar.
the fourth team.
I don't know, bro. They were golfing together.
Like
They were
five.
hanging out. They're posting each
Like
other on their
Blue Jays.
stories.
Distant 5, yeah. Well, you got Mets, Yankees still in on it.
Listen, all they have to do is offer 250 plus, and he's a Cardinal.
I guarantee the Mets will offer more than
The-
250.
I
Well-
think Steve Cohen will give him
You offer
Almost
250
whatever he
if they're
asked
anywhere
for.
close.
That's
He
why
doesn't want to go to New York.
I was in on Yamamoto becoming a Dodger until the Ohtani signing, and now I think the Mets are going to pay Yamamoto anything.
I mean, the Dodgers have money, but I don't know if they have blank check money. for
Yeah,
Yamamoto
I don't
anymore.
think they have Steve Cohen money.
I don't know, man.
Well, no
The
one.
Dodgers.
Very few people do.
Yeah.
So
I guess it depends if they want to go for the luxury tax or not. But it's a good segue because they also got Glass now.
That is true. Big
So now
trade
what's
there.
their rotation looking like for next year? You got Bueller.
You got Bueller, Glasnow.
You got Glass
That's a
now.
nice little punch right there as long as Glasnow stays healthy.
You got Miller.
Yep. Depends on when Kershaw comes back, I would
So
say.
he has to re-sign first.
Yeah, he'll resign.
Then you gotta have Gonsolin that's coming back at some point.
And May will come back later in the year.
May
too.
will come back. But that's all later in the year.
Yeah.
And then you have Gavin Sheehan,
Yep.
Emmett Stone. Stone guy?
Stone?
Emmett
Yeah.
Stone. The Stone guy. Well, anyways, you traded Ryan Pepio to Tampa.
Sorry.
You're good. So Ryan Pepio, he went to Tampa in exchange for Glasnow and Manuel Margot.
And DeLuca went later, so.
You want to talk about him a little bit? No.
I don't know a ton about
He was
DeLuca.
a defensive first center fielder.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pepio's gonna be able to be like helpful for the Rays this year, though.
Pepio was good.
He'll eat some innings this year for sure.
And you get like 6 years of control out of him. Or 4. Something 5 4 or 5.
And that's just what the Rays do. They just love having those guys that they don't have to pay.
Yeah. That's exactly what they went for. But the Dodgers could have a really good rotation if Bueller's healthy, if Glasnow's healthy. Well, those are two big ifs. I think Bueller will be just fine, but he is coming off his second Tommy John. So that's a tough one. And then I think Glasnow is going to be healthy. People call him pretty fragile, but I mean, it's really only been the one injury, in my opinion. He did have an oblique thing to start the year, but
That was more of a
UCL
freak
strain in
thing,
2019. He played all at 2020. He got Tommy John in 21. So he missed. It's really been the one elbow issue. So we'll see how he does coming off Tommy John. So I'm banking on being healthy, but I think the league's kind of out on him throwing 20 plus starts.
Yeah.
and how much control does he have?
Well,
before
this was his final year,
His contract.
but he did just sign an extension. So he signed, I want to say it was 5 years. He's basically getting $30 million a year for the next 5 years. So he signed 5 years. You want
When
to
did
pull it
this
up real
happen?
quick? So he's getting 27 mil a year this year already. That was kind of his salary for 25 mil. And then they basically upped his salary to 30 million for the next few years. I don't have the exact details, but Aven will pull that
This
up.
says
in a
it's 2-year
second.
deal.
It was way more than 2 years.
This is 2 years.
That's Bueller.
That's Bueller, bud. We're looking at Tyler Glass now.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
No,
you said
technical difficulties on our
I
end.
thought you said Bueller.
No,
Yeah, the
we-
Glasnow one's 135, 5 years.
There we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was like, I did not see a Walker
Yeah,
Bueller.
no, we were talking about that.
Okay.
It's okay, hey, we all don't
I
have the best
swear you
brains.
said. I
Well,
swear you said Walker Bueller extension, but okay.
you have him locked up, and when he's healthy, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. He's
sure.
the best strikeout stuff of a starter. So
Absolutely.
So yeah, if it's your choice, are you doing Bueller or Glasnow for opening day?
Bobby Miller. No,
Beautiful MLB The Show card.
yeah,
Which
he is a
summertime we'll
nasty
get into
splitter.
MLB The Show on this podcast for
Yeah.
sure.
We'll have some live streams. Tune in for those on Twitch. Follow us at All MLB Pod on Twitch. We'll make one of those here after this, but
It doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist yet.
It will when this goes out though.
Exactly. I would probably start Bueller because he's tenured longer in LA.
I think he's just more of a Dodger at this point in time. That's what the fans want to see. So,
I think you would start Kershaw if he's healthy. But
he
he's
won't
not.
Be. He won't be, and he hasn't resigned yet. But he'll resign.
Oh, he'll definitely resign.
I feel like it would be insane to see Kershaw go anywhere that wasn't Los Angeles. Like,
I mean, he could go to Texas. I think he wants to win some rings at this point. So,
Yeah.
and he's
But, I
always
mean,
been linked to
he
Texas.
wants to win rings, but he's
You
on the
stay
Dodgers
you
with
stay in LA. At this
Shohei
point.
Ohtani.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the rotation for the following year, 2025. Ohtani, Glasnow, Miller,
Bueller.
potentially Bueller. You have to sign him to an extension.
Yeah.
So I mean, their rotation isn't going to get worse even if they lose Bueller because they're still adding another ace in Otani.
And May will be there too.
True, May will be back. He's nice. I guess you can keep it with the Japanese theme. Yuki Matsui signed with the Padres. The youngest closer in Japanese history to 250 saves. Left-hander, he's only like 5'8", and he only throws about 92. So it's not your typical closer build, but he has 5 pitches. So he's basically a starter coming out of the pen in the 9th inning. So he keeps the guys off balance instead of because most closers they really have a 2-pitch mix and they're nasty, but so he has 5 average to above average pitches. So it's pretty cheap. It was 4 years, 21 mil.
Okay.
So it's about the going rate
Yeah.
for closers. It's similar to what Giovanni Gallegos got, a few other deals, but I think it's a great pickup. And I wanted him in St. Louis, but bias aside,
Cardinals never get anyone you want.
bias aside, he'll be great in San Diego.
Another signing is can you even say that person?
Jaime Candelario.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Jaime Candelario signs with the Reds. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Reds just keep dishing out their most expensive contract in history 3 times in a row this offseason because they started with a reliever and then a starter
That's true.
and then Jaime. I think he's a great fit. He would have hit 30 bombs last year if you factor in ballpark factor. I think he's at minimum 25 bombs next year with 30 doubles. Really young infield, so he adds that veteran presence that Joey Votto was, even though he's not a true veteran yet. And you don't want to tab him as that because he's still young. I think he'll probably play first because you'll have Elliott short, Matt McLean at second, and then Noelvi Marte at third. So you put Jaime Candelario at first, Spencer Steer at DH. And then you got to trade somebody. You trade Jonathan India. You trade Christian Encarnacion straight. No, they don't. He'll play left.
We'll do this on.
We'll figure it out. But he's gonna play first, DH a little bit, and he'll be a great fit.
Yeah, we'll mess with the Reds a little bit when we do a GM for them. Kind of moves us into our next topic where pretty soon we're going to be getting into playing GM for the Mariners. But for now, we're going to ask some questions about to our Mariners fan here.
But can I say one thing before we jump in? Bet money on the Royals to win the division.
That's right. We've been cooking this up a little bit.
Not gambling advice, first off, but
We would never advise
Royals adding multiple starters, a reliever, and a bat in a division that's only getting weaker. I mean, the Tigers are on the rise, but the Royals are going to be exciting to watch next year.
that, and I wouldn't mind even a little Bobby Witt MVP bet.
You can
Just-
sprinkle some
'cause
Bobby Witt.
You're gonna
votes.
have good odds there. I think he finishes top 5 this year.
And MLB throwing him on their what was it? Players to watch for next year or underrated. Throw him 30
sleeper
bombs and
MLB.
49
Yeah,
steals. I don't know.
absolutely not a sleep.
Yeah, the
not a
best
sleeper
defensive
at all.
shortstop in baseball too. Like what?
I mean, I remember like this summer watching the Mariners Royals series, all 7 games I think they played in like a month. Like the Mariners, I think lost 1 or 2 of those games. So like on paper, it looks like the Royals got creamed, but every single one of those games was like decided in the 8th or the 9th inning, or even in extras. It's like, and that was when the Mariners were playing the best ball of their life. Julio had his insane hitting streak where he had 4 hits in 3 straight games.
That's when he boosted it up right before the All-Star break. So I think, yeah, that was
Exactly.
insane.
And then it's just like the Royals are a good team. Like the Mariners were playing as good baseball as anyone in the league was at that point.
Yeah.
In the season, and the Royals were hanging with them the whole way. So
The Royals have a really good offense. It was their pitching last year. I mean, they got Cole Reagans and he was amazing. But other than that, everybody was just kind of laughable, and they didn't have a bullpen.
And that's what they're doing this
So-
offseason is they're building that right there.
They added, I believe, 3 starters. They got 4 good guys, 4 reliable arms in their rotation now, and they added 2 relievers. Will Smith, 3 World Series titles in a row. So I mean, if you want to sprinkle on the Royals to win the World Series,
We're just betting all
We're just
Royals.
betting
Not
Royals,
gambling advice.
yeah,
Not gambling advice.
but
Royals are a team to watch this year for sure, though.
and I don't think they're done. I think they might make another move, but we'll see. But we'll get into that another day.
Okay, Mr. Henry Black.
Mariners.
So I got a few questions. Is why the Mariners?
Well, I mean, there's the obvious. I was born in Seattle, so we gotta rep the home squad. But I don't know. I love the Mariners. Obviously, King Felix was one of my favorite players growing up. Loved watching him play. Absolutely elite pitcher that was just wasted on an absolutely terrible Mariners team. I mean, everyone always makes the jokes. Mariners are the worst franchise in sports history, and
Hey, shout out you, Trace.
Yep.
You know what you say.
shout out Trace.
Big
but,
Trace Cunningham, guys.
as much as it hurts, it's true. I mean, the Mariners, they're a disappointing franchise year after year. They always just recently they've just been trying to get as close as they can without actually doing anything.
They're trying to make the fans excited and then let them down. I think it was even that Jeff
what was the
Passan said.
percentage? The win percentage?
I mean, yeah, you've got them saying we only need to win 54%
That's what it was,
of
54.
games for us to make it to the playoffs. And
It was the last wild card spot, wasn't it?
yeah,
That's what he
no,
wanted.
exactly. And when your management is all they're trying to do is make that last wild card spot, like as a fan, that just it's a stab in the heart. Like,
Well, even Jeff Passan was saying he feels bad with fans
I mean,
because they don't really
I've
plan on
seen-
spending. Something with a TV deal, losing some
Yeah,
money.
no,
Yeah.
Root Sports. Actually, just a few days ago, the Mariners actually acquired because they had been like part owners, like some like 30-20% or some small part of Root Sports they owned, which Root Sports broadcasts all Mariners games in the Northwest. But just recently, a few days ago, they actually acquired like almost all or the majority of Root Sports. And so that cost them a bit of money. And something they're sort of saying now is like, well, I mean, we just spent so much money on this Root Sports deal. We don't really have anything left over.
And that deal is going to make them money long term.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that. The Mariners are one of, if not the most profitable franchises in baseball. Like just based off of ticket sales and like what they make from their baseball team.
It's all right.
Yeah,
I think they're one of their higher teams.
they're up there. And Mariners fans, like
I was looking at attendance the other day.
last few years, the Mariners have been winning, made the playoffs 2 years ago for the first time. And it's like, well, first time in 21 years. And it's just like every single Mariners fan I know was so hyped
Yeah.
for
I
this
remember you.
season.
I remember you.
Like we were like, this is our year. I know I was like, Mariners win the World Series this year. No, I didn't say that. I said Mariners would make it to the World Series. I felt really
think
good.
You
this
might
year.
have said win it.
I'm sure I did. I think my realistic expectations were they'd make it to the World Series. I say realistic in quotes. But they ended up missing the playoffs by one or two
game?
games. I think it was just one game.
It came down to the last series against
Yeah,
Texas.
I think
basically.
if they had won their last game and the Astros had lost
they
their last
swept.
game,
They swept Texas.
Yeah, they
to
did
end the
everything
series.
they
they
could.
they did
Diamondbacks
everything
got
they could.
swept
The
by Houston.
the Diamondbacks won 1 out of 2. The Diamondbacks needed to win 2 out of, or they won 1 out of 3. They
Mhm.
needed to win 2 out of 3.
That's what it was. Okay.
I remember in that last week of the season looking at who the Astros had lined up, and it was like Verlander, Framber, and I think JP France. And the Diamondbacks ended up beating Verlander and then losing to Framber and JP France. And that was just like, oh no. But no, it was a painful season. I mean, even if they had made it, like I think they would have played the Twins if they had made that last spot. No, they would have been the top wild card. Because they would have been the top wild card. Anyway. But yeah, no, Mariners fan, the life of a Mariners fan is pain, is the way I'm gonna put that. But I still love them. I'm just really hoping that what I think is gonna happen doesn't happen. What I think is gonna happen is that the Mariners do nothing this offseason, except give away some absolute studs and fan favorites like Jared Kelenic for absolutely nothing. I mean, like that
Cash dump.
trade. It's
Yeah.
I mean cash dump, but like they sent Marco Gonzalez. They were giving him $12 million. Like
Cash dump.
It's
You think about cash dumps, you expect to go get someone.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's
like,
what we're gonna
I-
play in here. In a
but it's
second.
like what they're doing is they're cash dumping for their root sports acquisition. So it's like,
He was right though. The Mariners are at 10th in attendance.
Okay.
They average
Yeah, they're
33,000
up.
fans a game. So.
they make a lot of money from their fans. Their fans support them a lot. And it's like, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way when I see management going out there this offseason and making no moves. Like I thought the Mariners were going to be in on Jung-Hoo Lee. Maybe they were. Maybe they were neck and neck with the Giants until the very end, but I don't think they were. I
I didn't hear a ton towards
Yeah,
the end.
I didn't.
Jung-Hoo Lee was pretty quiet just in general.
That's true.
I didn't hear much about it.
Little off topic. You know what I was really surprised to see is the Angels average second place in attendance in the AL every year, basically.
Well, they got Mike Trout, and everyone wants to go see Mike Trout.
I know.
Well,
but
they had
that's-
Otani.
They did have a.
The Angels were
Otani.
13th in attendance this year.
You sure?
Yeah, I got it right here.
It's got it pulled up.
I was looking at it.
Who was
yesterday
number
on
one? Probably
Fangraphs.
like the Dodgers, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you want to guess the top 5 bud?
Okay, I would say just in no
First
particular
off,
order.
his last name's Black. That's why I'm calling him Black. Nothing
Black.
wrong with
You
that.
introduced him as that.
Well, I just want to clarify.
I would say in no particular order, the top 5 have to be the Yankees,
That's number 2.
number 2, Dodgers.
That's number 1.
Yep, I knew it. Okay, those are the easy ones. I would say 3. I feel like there's gonna be a couple sneaky ones there. I bet the Astros are up there.
The Astros are not in the top 5.
Ah, yeah.
Houston's 7.
Houston 7. Okay, so they're up there, but
They're the second highest American League team.
second highest American. Interesting. So a lot of national teams. I bet. Well, if we got the Yankees, so I was thinking Red Sox, but I guess not Red Sox.
California team.
California.
number
Oh, that makes sense. San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's number 3.
San Diego's number 3. I wonder if we.
Number 4 is an NL Central team. Best team in baseball, arguably.
I guess the Cardinals
Yeah.
can be up there. I guess the Cardinals can be up there. And then number 5.
Is potentially the actual best team in baseball.
Yeah, I would say probably the interesting. Thought I knew this.
They had a player that won MVP this year.
Oh, the Braves.
The Braves. Yeah.
Of course.
The second place for the Angels, I just looked. It's over the last 15 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
This is just
Mike
purely
Trout's
off
been in the
last
league for
year.
what? 12?
Huh?
Mike Trout's been in the league for like what? 12 years?
He debuted in what, 2011?
2011?
Yeah.
Sounds about right. I'm sure there's a correlation there.
Well, I just kind of wonder why do they always suck then?
Because
They got plenty of money coming in.
Yeah.
I think they have bad player development, but I don't know.
They need to sell their team. They can't develop. Well,
If we want to get back to the Mariners, because that is mostly what I know.
Yeah, we got a
about.
little on a tangent there.
I think there's a couple things that we need to do. I say we, the franchise needs to do.
no,
as a
we're
team.
the general managers.
We are the general
We
manager. Right now,
we're
right
making
now,
this better. Jerry
we're the general
Dipoto
managers.
can listen to us.
This is our next
Call me
segment
Jerry.
is we're
Jerry's probably gonna
make
get
decisions.
leave because the Mariners front off or the Mariners owners won't let him do anything.
Yeah.
That's why he left his last job.
I don't necessarily blame Jerry for our moves. I think it's mostly management. I don't think they're giving him much money to work with. I think these so-called cash dump maneuvers are Jerry's way of trying to get some kind of cash so that he can do something. Because I think the owners are squeezing him. But I think one obvious one that we need to do, I think the Mariners have 2 needs. They need to get bats for their lineup because they've got good pitching. And 2, they need to make sure their fans understand that they're actually trying to win. I think that 54% thing threw everyone off. But then they need to go spend some money to make sure everyone knows, the fans know that they're serious about this.
What's our big splash there?
Well,
So I think one thing they could do is go get Blake Snell, right?
yeah.
He's made it abundantly clear he wants to go to Seattle. Like he spent a whole bunch of time in Seattle, went to a Seahawks game, raised the 12 flag, like born in Seattle. He wants to be a Mariner. I know if I was Blake Snell, been a Mariners fan for life, or in Seattle, if I was Blake Snell, I'd be like, yes, I want to go play for my team, the Mariners.
You know who also wanted to play for their team? Max Scherzer. You know who didn't offer him a contract 8 years ago? The Cardinals. So you should offer him a contract. Because look how it ended up.
Look how that ended up. The Cardinals.
I'm always hurting, okay? There's nothing good. But let's go over the Mariners.
Speaking of people the Cardinals didn't keep, the Mariners need bats, right? One of the top bats that's out on the market for a possible trade that I think the Mariners should go for wouldn't cost a whole lot of money. Would be Randy Arozarena.
He would cost some money.
He would cost a little bit of money, but
Well, we'll get to that.
we could get him in trade.
Let's go over the depth chart first.
All right.
We'll go position by position, see what's a lock, and see what can be improved. So we'll start with catcher. Catcher's Cal Raleigh. Thoughts, Blake?
Cal Raleigh's a dog.
Lock.
I mean, he's probably, I say he's the best hitting catcher in baseball.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk. We'll talk
I
about
think,
that on
I
our.
think he's the
We'll
best.
talk about that on our top 10 position player rankings when we get there.
All right.
At first base, penciled in right now is Ty France. At second base, you have Josh Rojas. At third base, you have Luis Urias, recently acquired from the Red Sox. Shortstop, you have J.P. Crawford. In left field, you have Cade Marlowe. In center field, you have Julio Rodriguez. And in right field, you have Dominic Canzone. So when I look at that lineup, the only people that I say 100% should be there, Cal Raleigh, J.P. Crawford, and Julio Rodriguez. I think you can keep Ty France in there. I mean, you could. There's obviously better options, but out of all the people that we've listed, he's one of the last ones that you're more than likely going to replace.
I think with Ty France, he had a down year this year. So I know he was phenomenal for us 2 years ago. I think he'll be good for us again this year. So I'm not super concerned about replacing him. But yeah, I think our second base, our third base, it would be nice to pick up at least one corner outfielder because we do have a couple prospects coming up for outfield. That would be nice. We've got some prospects for infield as well that I like, but I think our main needs right now are going to be our third baseman, second baseman, and corner outfield.
So the best part of the Mariners is going to be their rotation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. You have Emerson Hancock waiting. Matt Brash can also start some games. So you got lots of depth. So if they're not willing to sign players in free agency, they have the ability to trade for it. Because the thing that everybody needs this offseason is pitching. You need young, controllable starters. And the Mariners have plenty.
Mariners have
plenty to
more than
offer.
anybody else has.
So going and playing GM, we can start making some decisions. So I think we're gonna say we signed Blake Snell, right?
Whoa.
Well, I feel
That's
like
a big move to start off.
that's
off
going to
the
cost the Mariners a lot of money. If the
If the
Mariners
Mariners do
sign
that-
Blake Snell, they're not going to sign another free agent.
No, they're not.
I would say
Yeah,
that's maybe a
pitching.
realistic option
Mhm.
that they could do in real life, but the thing that I think we should do is focus on upgrading that offense because that's their biggest area of need. Now that might not be what Jerry Dipoto actually does, but that's the area I think we should target. So I think we should start with those corner outfield bats because when you're building a team, you need offensive firepower from your corners, left, right, third, and first. They're lacking in all those spots. So I think, and it's a trade that's been floated many times. You could go get Isaac Paredes. You could go get Yandy Diaz. He's been floated, and you can go get Randy Arozarena from the Rays. Let's not package multiple. If you were to pick one, and I really think the two most likely to get traded are Isaac Paredes and Randy. So let's move off of Yandy.
Yeah.
So we can either upgrade at third that way. We can also sign a bat for one of those positions.
I mean, I think they do get Snell and they trade away one of those pitching picks because when you sign Snell, it lets you trade one of those guys in that deal. And You can go get bats that
I
way.
agree with that. I think what I want the Mariners to do the most is go get Randy. Because I think Isaac Paredes is good. I don't know if he can play third, but Ty France can play third, and he could play first.
Can Ty play third?
He did.
I know he's played second.
Before he played first base, he played some third base. He was good. He wasn't.
Was he acceptable there, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's a I don't know. He's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman for sure, but he's an acceptable third baseman. He's not Eugenio Suarez, which is unfortunate, but he could play.
Kept him.
He could play third base if needed, but that's a reason that I would probably rather us get Randy as well. Because I mean, you look at it. I mean, right now we've got Luis Urias playing third base, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. It's not my favorite move that the Mariners made. Not what I was hoping they do, but it's what they did. And so we've got him there. Hopefully he can perform. But the thing is, who was our starting left fielder that you had pulled up? Because I'm blanking right now.
Cade Marlowe.
Cade
Let me
Marlowe.
find it again, but I believe it was Cade
No,
Marlowe.
that sounds right.
Yeah, it is.
So just for reference, in 2021, Ty France played, 39 innings at third.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2022, he played 47. He did not play there in 2023.
Yeah, he basically moved to first base early in the season 2022 and never played anywhere else.
He did play 259 innings there with San Diego in 2019. So
he came to the Mariners as a primary third baseman. So, but yeah, I mean, we've got two very young guys at the corners right now. Between Marlowe and Canzone, I think I like Canzone more. I think just from what I've watched of them, I think Canzone is probably the better bat. I mean, Marlowe's done some cool things, like he had a insane grand slam against the Angels in the top of the 10th inning to give them the lead. That was a sweet moment. But aside from that, Cade Marlowe has really done very little. And I mean, Urias has had good years. So I think I'd rather have Urias in our lineup than Cade Marlowe, which is why I think we should go get Randy. But what the Rays need, right, is they need some pitching, right? They just gave away Glass now. So what we've got pitching. So I think the three that we need on the table are probably going to have to be Gilbert, Miller, and Wu.
I think Gilbert's too much.
I think a 1-for-1 Gilbert for a Rosarena.
I think
I
that's
don't
still
think
way
that's
too
gonna
much.
happen.
I don't know. I wouldn't love it. If we had Snell, I would.
Who would you rather have?
Snell or Gilbert?
No, like, okay, say if you were trading for somebody.
I think
Snell
I
or
know the
Gilbert.
answer to that one. But I do love Gilbert.
Gilbert's pretty good.
I do love Gilbert.
But if you were to trade for somebody, would you rather have, because you need a second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
You also need a corner guy. You could also trade for, so it's been rumored, not so much this offseason, but Nolan Gorman was big at the trade deadline.
Yes.
Would you rather have Nolan Gorman or Randy Rosarena?
Who would I rather have? I think Randy or Rosarena.
Okay, that's fair.
I think, honestly, Josh Rojas, I was impressed with him towards the end of the season. He had a good end of the season. I mean, he started off, it's like half and half with the Mariners. He had a bad season last year. No one's going to debate that. I think as a Mariners fan, also, I might be coming in with what's good for the Mariners is well below average for everyone else. But I don't know.
Well, I
It's
just don't think you're trading 5 years of Logan. Like Logan Gilbert,
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
don't.
way too much for Randy.
Yeah,
Rosarena.
5 years of control. That is true. Because Randy's got
He's got three.
He's got three.
He's got
He's
three.
got three.
I really don't think it's much more than Bryce Miller
Bryce Miller.
Yeah.
and a lower level prospect, like a flyer guy. You just let the Rays pick their guy because he's
Yeah.
going to turn into a stud.
Yep.
You let them pick one of those guys,
True.
and you flip him for Randy.
So
I
as
like
GM,
that.
are we doing that?
I think as a GM, if that was my offer for Randy Rosarena, I'd take that.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, I would say like Logan Gilbert, just for example, like when the Cardinals wanted Gilbert at the deadline, it was Gorman and Newbar,
Yeah,
which is a hefty package.
that's a
compared to
lot.
Randy.
That's a lot.
So, I don't think Gilbert's
That would
really-
probably have to be a package. With
I think if
maybe-
you go like Randy and Isak Paredes,
Yeah.
then you start with Gilbert,
then you go Gilbert and maybe
like Hancock or
Yeah.
somebody. But I think for one or like a one in a low level flyer.
I don't think you do Hancock and Gilbert in that deal.
Well,
I don't know. Hancock. We haven't seen much from Hancock at the MLB level. Well,
That's true.
I think that's something we don't know very much. He's been
Hancock's gonna be
Phenomenal.
a good
Yeah.
pitcher, but he relies on command. And with those command guys, like there's some really good ones that are at the top. More than likely, I think a lot of people are projecting him to be a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So all you're hoping for is that he gives you a quality start one day. You might give up 7 the next start, but if he can bounce back and give you a quality start, that's really all you're looking for out of
Yep.
5.
for sure.
So I don't think out of the upside, he's probably the lowest out of all of the guys you're looking at. So are we gonna make that?
So are we doing that?
You're saying
that trade?
Gilbert and Hancock for Paredes. And
I thought we were
Rosarena?
just doing Bryce Miller for
Okay,
young.
just-
Yeah, I thought we were doing it straight up.
Bryce Miller and a prospect for Rosarena.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the.
I think.
I think I'm in on that.
Yeah,
Okay, we do that.
So
So
you got Randy and left.
Seattle's got Randy now.
So now you can either sign a starter because I know we've talked about Snell,
Yeah.
but you could
Or-
also just slide Hancock up
Mhm.
because you're also gonna have Robbie Ray coming
Yes.
back.
We got Robbie right back.
What hitters then are you gonna go get for free agency? Because they got to go get someone else.
That's true. No,
Right.
for sure. I think.
I really like the idea, and we talked about it in our predictions a little bit. I like Jorge Soler in Seattle, whether that's as a right fielder or a DH. I
Would
think
probably be
that's
as a-
an option.
as a DH. I think. Because usually what Seattle would do with the DH is they'd have one of their guys like one day Cade Marlowe would DH one day if it was a righty on the bump. Next day, if it was a lefty on the bump, they'd pull out. Jose Caballero would come out a lot. See, like what Scott Service would do is he'd just play the matchups, as he would say. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I don't know. I would like the idea of having a big bat at DH that's just going to be there every day, right? Just there to hit, which I think is what Jorge Soler would be. Because I guess I'm not intimately familiar with his defense, but I'm going to assume that maybe some of our younger guys would play a better outfield than he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soler's not great.
Yeah, that was sort of what I thought. So I think so at this point, if we do have Randy, if we've got Randy in left, Julio in center, and then we've got like Dominic Canzone, Taylor Trammell, Cade Marlowe, depending on who's doing what the day is like, got them. I think that's a pretty decent outfield for us to have. If we get Jorge Soler, that would be a great addition to not have to
Playing the outfield.
to not have to play him in the outfield, to let him just focus on hitting. Probably keep him healthy. Hopefully. I don't think he really struggles with injuries too much. But
I also
Maybe
like the idea you could go sign like a JD Martinez to play DH. I know you're not necessarily looking for a DH. I really want him to sign Cody Bellinger.
I would love that, but also I wouldn't love that. Because I think the thing with Bellinger is he's coming off one of his best seasons, probably his second best season, we would think, right?
One of his better seasons in the last few
One of
years.
his better,
Yeah.
certainly
Probably-
one of his better seasons in the last couple
Weeks, yeah.
And what people are thinking right now is that maybe he's back to his early day form of being one of the best players. I know you have your thoughts about that, but I think Cody Bellinger needs to prove himself again. Like he did a good job. He's going to get paid wherever he goes, but I'm not 100% sold on the fact that he's going to be a big time player like he was this year.
No, and the thing circling him is that he's looking for 200.
Yeah, that's great.
Seattle's definitely not going to give him
Seattle is
200.
absolutely not giving him 200.
What about somebody like Matt Chapman? You put Matt Chapman at 30, you move Isak to first, slide France to second.
Now that would be, I would love that.
Because
I
then
think
you just deal with whoever's
if you
in
sign
right.
Chapman, I think you probably DH Paredes and keep Ty at first.
Yeah, and then you could keep Luis Arias or one of the younger guys
Yeah,
second.
just
you deal with
someone at
whoever's in
second.
right.
We've got guys coming up too at some, not this year, but in future years if we could do that. But I think for this year,
How is Marlowe as a defender? Can he play right?
Marlowe's a
No.
decent.
Mhm.
Cade Marlowe, he's a decent defender. I think Canzone's a better right fielder. Canzone would play right over Marlowe.
Yeah.
But Marlowe did play right this season multiple times. So
And that, no, they're both lefties.
it is. Yeah. I think for righty days or for lefty days, we don't have a lot of righty outfielders. That actually is something that would be interesting to see what Scott Service would do, because on days that we did face lefties, we had a lot of guys that we took out of the lineup that were lefties. Like a lot. Cade Marlowe, I don't know if he ever started against a lefty. Canzone rarely did.
Well, I got a few more names I could throw out. You could sign like a cheaper guy like Aven Rosario from Cleveland,
That
the
would be-
Dodgers. You know a
It
little
would
bit more
certainly- it
about
would
him.
Certainly be an upgrade.
Plays second. He's a little cheaper. Michael Brantley wouldn't be a bad addition to the outfield. I know he's a little injury plagued the last year, but I mean he could slot into a
I don't-
corner.
I mean, yeah, it would be an option. I mean, personally, I don't like it just because he's an Astro, but Michael Brantley, I mean, just from him tearing up his competition in the postseason a few years ago when the Astros won, and like him tearing up the Mariners for years, like Michael Brantley in Seattle would be nice. I think I'd be able to get over him being an Astro if we got him in
Yeah, I
Seattle.
think you might be happy.
I think he'd be a good addition. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd rather get an Ahmed Rosario if we were going to go that route, just because I think, okay, we're saying we have Randy, we're saying we have Paredes.
I thought we were just doing the one.
Oh,
Didn't we just
we
just did the
I
one?
think I
Those
said
are just
Randy.
those are just the random floats we've been
right. Sorry,
talking about.
I keep.
No,
We'll
we
finalize
inked-
everything at the beginning, but we're just talking about some ideas.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
pick our favorites and we'll ink it at the end.
Yep.
You could. Where'd he go?
I like.
I mean I could say like Jock Peterson, but I think you're gonna avoid lefties because you already have so many.
I don't think we'll go. For
I could see the Mariners going after Michael Taylor because of the Twins last year. Just an outfielder, nothing special, but I think he could
He's
slot
not
nicely
really.
up there.
He's not really a huge bat though. He's more of
No.
a defensive first, and I feel like our defense in the outfield is not really going to be a weakness for us. Especially, I mean, we got Julio out there. Michael A. Taylor's a primary center fielder, right? So
Right.
he's gonna.
And you do well in the
his
corner.
biggest. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, he would be phenomenal in the corner, but my point is, you don't need necessarily a guy that's going to be like insanely covering the ground like Michael A. Taylor can in right field, right? I mean, it's obviously nice to have that, but you've also got to have a guy that's going to back that up with his bat, which Michael A. Taylor
Mhm.
is not exactly going to do that as well as. I mean, he would probably hit very similar to how our current corner outfielders would hit, just with better defense.
What about somebody like? So I know we've talked about Matt Chapman at third. Could you consider Justin Turner at third? Not a
Red
fan?
turn.
I don't
I
think
feel like
I don't think he plays a lot of games at third base
Yeah.
this season.
He's
anymore.
sticking to DH now.
Yeah,
he's
I
getting
don't-
old.
he's
He's getting very old.
You could see it towards the end of his Dodger days that
Yeah.
he just wasn't a good
He
third
wasn't
baseman
moving.
anymore. Yeah.
You don't want Pop Tart playing third for you?
No, I think the Matt Chapman one is
I do like Matt Chapman. If we didn't go get Snell and instead went and got Matt Chapman,
You made Chapman and you made the Rosarena deal.
if we
That's
got
a pretty good offseason.
if we got Chapman and a Rosarena, I would be over the moon. Like that would be a perfect offseason in my eyes. Like
I kind of wonder if that's what we do for
I think we inked that in.
I think that would make our team significantly better. And I think that's what we're trying to do. So a Rosarena and Chapman, two good bats, a good bat in Chapman, a very good bat in a Rosarena, and phenomenal defense from Chapman, very good defense from a Rosarena. Definitely upgrades. I think that's going to be that's a phenomenal offseason.
add the just everyday guys instead of
Absolutely.
the platoon guys. You don't have to switch them out so much.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're gonna ink those two in.
Yep.
So we're saying,
I like that.
is that gonna be it, or you think they make a small?
Do you think there's one more?
I mean,
I don't think there's anything big, but I could see something small happening.
I mean, the thing is, if they do go and sign someone, wouldn't be surprised if they
How's the bullpen?
gave someone away.
Yeah,
The
very
bullpen
good.
is very good.
Okay.
Los Bomberos,
yeah.
firemen, but not fires. But I mean, yeah, the bullpen arms. We are good on arms. We have got all the arms any team would ever need. I think, and they're just getting better every year.
Yeah.
They're young.
So we ink those two,
Ink those two,
and I think that'll wrap
and
it
then
up for
hope that our second baseman can
Yeah.
have a
You
good
can
year.
finally have a good second baseman for the first time
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Colton Wong, Adam Frazier fails.
Colton Wong, Adam Frazier. Haven't had a good second baseman since Cano, it feels like.
Oof, that's a while.
That is a
It's
while.
been a while.
Okay, Mariners fans, you got Rosarena and you got Matt
Yeah,
Chapman.
let's go
So
around the diamond
Be happy there.
and we'll wrap it up with that.
Yep.
So you still have Cal Raleigh, catcher, Ty Francis still man in first.
Mhm.
Who are we throwing in second? Like a
I think-
platoon, more than likely, of Urias.
Well, you've got Urias, who's a righty, if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken, and you got Rojas, who's a lefty.
So you platoon those
I think
two.
they're probably gonna. I think Service would probably run a platoon there.
There you go.
Maybe if Urias shows up and has a great season, he'd play more
Full-time
games.
job.
I don't see Josh Rojas starting a single game against the lefty this year. Though. I don't
Okay.
think that happens.
We signed Matt Chapman for third base. JP still at short.
Oh yeah,
Added Randy Rosarena via trade. Would we give up Bryce Miller?
Bryce Miller.
And,
And-
we just said
And a
Someone
low,
to be named.
a low
someone
level
low
flyer.
level. Yeah.
Got Julio in center, and what, another platoon going on in right, or just Cade Marlowe out there?
Well, we got
said-
Mr. Calzone,
Yeah, we
Dominic
said-
Calzone,
Calzone.
Calzone.
sorry,
Calzone,
Marlo.
Marlowe. Maybe Tramel's had multiple options to come up and show what he can do. Very mixed results there, mostly negative. Maybe I'm sure he'll get another shot this year. So possible third option, but
There you go. So that's our starters for the Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
You guys got anything else to add?
I think that'll do it.
It was a bit of a longer episode than I think we planned.
Yep.
If you guys stuck around for this long, thank you for sticking with us. Go check out all our socials. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We make some great TikToks.
They're pretty great TikToks.
Yeah.
they are very good TikToks, I will say.
And stay tuned for episode 4 where we're hopefully going to do finally our sneaky team that Jarek and I have been really excited about for a while
Yes.
now.
We should get this one out sooner. We should be a little more consistent on its winter break.
Yeah.
So
Now that we're off from school, we'll be a lot better about it. But yeah.
I think that'll do it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening,
Thanks,
guys. Yeah. Henry, thanks for being on here.
Thanks
We
for
really
having me,
appreciate it.
guys. Thanks for flying me out
Yeah.
here for this exclusive
It's
episode.
what I do. It's what I do. Next time you gotta pay for your ticket though.
All righty. Get out of here.
Ready.